Winterland, tell me all your secrets. Fill me in on your wildest moments. Colored trees, your yellow leaves move me. Dancing roofs, your painted red shakes the room. When I get there, I'll let my feet roam. When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control. When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get closer.
Hey everybody, happy Monday. This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric. I make apps. This is well, I can't say weekly anymore because it's been about 3 weeks since we've done the last thing. But this is the live stream where we just, get together and chat about whatever we want to chat about. Sometimes it could be a few minutes. Actually, it's never been a few minutes. It's never been less than, I think maybe the shortest one was 20 minutes. The longest one was like 2.5 hours. But we just chat about whatever we want to chat about. And I've been trying to, this has been an intention of mine to like scale back a little bit on the live streams, because for a while I wasn't doing the daily videos, or not the more routine videos, the topic videos. So I've been trying to do a bit more of those in the last few weeks, and which has been fun. It's been fun just getting back into that mode of thinking like, okay, what am I going to talk about today? Although I don't have any further videos going out like for the rest of the week that I've recorded so far. So anyway, this is a live stream. We just hang out. We just chill. We just chat, whatever. So today, man. Oh, also, I moved around today. I'm just on the webcam sometimes, so if you're wondering why I took a picture, like there's a hook right behind me. So one of the things that I have in my little workstation here is the man in the arena, the Teddy Roosevelt quote. So something that when I look at it, it reminds me of trying to do something different than just everybody else around me. We talked about that a little bit on the live stream before. I can't remember who it was. Was it Patrick? It was somebody has like the has that quote on their wall too. The Daring Greatly speech, and it's one of those things that I find motivating. But I took it down because of the glare and reflection and everything. So anyway, in case you guys are wondering why I switched things around a little bit, I'm just against a blank wall. So today, I spend the entire day just trying to get UDP packets to read on Windows through, which is easy actually. It's easy to read UDP packets from a Windows connection. However, I don't have a Windows PC, or I do have one, but the disk space is really small. And once I loaded all my dev tools on it, it can't do anything else. So it's just performs like a dog. So I'm trying to use a virtual machine through Parallels today, and it's just not working. So anyway, that's my frustration. You know what it's like when you got like you're 4 hours in, you're like, dude, I'm no further than I was 4 hours ago. That's frustrating. So let's see who's there. Ravel here. Hey, Ravel, how's it going? Thanks for the thing you said this morning. I need to respond to that. But Eric, hey, created options for the team. What do you think on investing in content creation based on courses? I think it's good. It's just courses are a lot more, regimented. I mean, talk to any teacher, they'll tell you that, it's not just they go out there and spout things off, like kind of like this video does, or like this channel does. I mean, I'll talk about whatever I feel like on a day-to-day basis, whereas a course would be more of a strict thing, like, you up with an outline and, today we're going to cover this, today we're going to go, that, and then thinking about how to do it. Although, when you read as many computer books as I have, that there's always kind of a structure to everything. Like chapter one is never Hello World. It's always the history of whatever it is. Like if you're going to look like Node.js, first we need to look at the history of Node.js. Like, no, you don't. You don't need to look at the history of Node.js. No, but the author is like, that's filler. And then it's the Hello World, and then it's then it moves on from that. And then usually towards the later chapters it gets to error handling and stuff like that. But so, once you read enough of those books, putting an outline together would be fairly easy. But is it possible to give options to a team of contractors based on revenue growth? I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends if you can find contractors that are willing to do that. Like for me, I know that I've had lots of opportunities, just not for content creation, but in terms of just doing application development, where it's like we talk about the 50-50 thing, you share in the proceeds or whatever, or the if you reach a certain target, then you'll get paid this amount. And my whole thing is, I'll do the work. The risk of the project, is not mine. Mine is the make sure it works the way that it's supposed to work, right? So if there's and usually most of the time those revenue growth things, there's those things that I don't have control over, like marketing. Like unless I do have control over marketing, and that's never the case. Like I think I could contribute. I mean, do the videos and stuff like that. But that's never been the case. Every time somebody's approached me to do like a contractor-based revenue type thing, it's always been the code monkey role. Like sit in the corner and just you make it, and I'll be the idea guy, and then you can share into revenue. And it's like, you know what? That's I have control over the code. So, but the marketing is almost, well, I think it's as important, if not more important, than actually the code work itself. Adrian is here. Hey, Adrian, Celtic vibes. Enjoying the shorts, but I do like watching the live stream too until I get called back to my day job. Lol. Are they? Yeah. Well, I mean the shorts. So I've been doing so we got the different things. We got the shorts, which are like, there are days where. So this is what happens every morning. I get up. And then Ren on my team, she goes, "Do you have a video for today?" And I go, "Nope, I don't have one." So she'll go through one of the older videos and put together like a 1 minute, 1 minute YouTube shorts of that, and then that goes out. And sometimes those are really old. Like it's weird that like she'll show them to me first just to make sure they make sense. Like, oh yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. It's kind of like, okay, that video was 7 minutes long and he condensed it down to 1 minute. Good job, right? But it's still that kind of like those older videos. I'm thinking, whew, I've aged. I've aged, like just going back in time. But yeah. So then there's the longer ones where it's just like I got this list of topics every so often. It's like something I want to talk about, and but it's So let's see. Rihad says, how much do you earn for every 100 installs average? You don't earn anything for the install. It's that's the install, unless you're actually selling the application, like it's a straight out purchase, then you're not making anything from an installation. You need an installation to do other things like ad revenue or in-app purchases, and that's because that 100 installs, like you make nothing from that. And I don't, it's all the other stuff you need. The question you should be asking is, how many ads are you going to show? How long are users going to be staying on your application? How many ad impressions? What's the RPM based on the country, based on everything like that? Are you doing in-app purchases? How are you going to drive those in-app purchases? But the installation is key, because if you can't get the installation, then you're nowhere, right? So that's, but that's a question I get a lot. Like one of those quantitative questions where it's like, it's like if you say, like you could say, you could say like on average, but it really depends. Like if I give you a number, it's not going to say like you should go out and do that and expect that. Like you could say, if you walk, how many people walk into a mall? If 1,000 people walk into a mall, how much money does the mall make? Right? It's like, or the shopping center make? And the answer is, they make nothing for people walking in. But like if they don't walk in, they will never make anything. But you could say, you take the average of the people walking in. So like, on a good day, they would make this much. A bad day, so if you were to divide that by the number walking in, per capita, it would be whatever. But it would change based on shopping center to shopping center. So if you're like if you're in downtown Manhattan, it's going to be different than if you're in, Kansas City, Missouri. Let's see. Sadek, hey, how's it going? Sadek says, hello, Eric. Dude, you have a handsome profile. Let me just stop and say that. That's cool. Tell me where you work, so I'm gonna go get a profile like that. Shirt button up and everything like that. That's cool. Hello, Eric. I recently released an app on the App Store, but after around 2 months, it didn't get any ratings. Do you have any suggestions? Hopefully you're asking for ratings within the application, which is like, trying to get people to actually, leave those reviews. And the nice thing is that now you have those in-app rating APIs, where like when we started off, it was always just a link back to the App Store or the Play Store, and now you can actually put that stuff in there. And like what I would do is have the one that randomly pops up, like, but then also have the one that's just always there on the homepage, so so it's always easy, or however your application is structured. And it should never be leave us a review. It should always be share it. Share with others, because that's really what they're doing. That makes it not about you. It makes it about them, and they're able to share something with their friends and stuff like that. At least that's my opinion. Rifat, hey, it says there are courses named Zero to Hero on Kubernetes. I'm thinking of mine, Hero to Zero. I saw that. I looked at your page and I thought, is that a typo? Hero to Zero in the life of Kubernetes implementation. How does that sound? Isn't that like going the opposite direction? It sounds clever. It does. And like, when I always have the Idiot's Guide or the For Dummies series, you'd think like the reason those are clever is because they're like basically you're insulting the audience or whatever. But so it might work. It'd be interesting to see. But I like when you look at it from a logical point of view, it means like you'd be getting worse, right? You'd be going back to nothing, unless you could say you just make it all like take it out of your conscious, the levels of learning, your conscious awareness to your subconscious awareness, or so it becomes like a muscle memory type thing. Let's see. Sadik says my application is Earthquake Tracker. Let's have a look then. Let's have a look. Sadik, is it on Google Play? Man, I got a lot of tabs open. Let me close all these. So see, guys, what I've been working on, what I've been messing around with. Okay, so play. I'm gonna check Google Play for this Earthquake Tracker before I actually show it. Let's show my screen. Hang on a second. Wrong screen. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So if I do Earthquake Tracker, I can see one here called Earthquakes Tracker. Is that the one we're talking about? Yeah, Sadik, if you could tell me which one we're actually looking at, because I'm assuming it's this one, but you said Earthquake Tracker, and this is plural Earthquakes Tracker. Yeah, come back to me on that one. I know there's a little bit of a lag here. Let's see. Venkata says. Venkata says hi. Rehat says, yeah, I know. Okay. So let's see. We've got Robert says, hey, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing well. I hope everybody else is too. Actually, I should have said that too. Let's see. Venkata says, what do you need to leave IT and what? And what? Climb the Himalayas? Run with the bulls at Pamplona? Or just start your own stuff? Yeah, well, leaving IT. IT's like, I don't know. For me, it was difficult to get into IT. So, but it depends on. Yeah, finish that sentence. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to be. I assume you mean like starting your own business or like doing your own thing. Let's see. Robert says, Eric, like you, I do a mix of publishing my own apps and taking on client work. I think self-publishing is more high risk, high reward. Yeah, I think so too. It's like it's one of those reasons why it's so hard to get started on that. Like just to work on your own stuff, because it is high risk. You're like, am I just wasting my time? Get something out there. But when you do strike big, then you're like, wow, there's like I mean, I still get app revenue from my apps. It's not as much as it was before, but I just recently fixed something on my my ad mob. You know, they keep asking all these tax questions. You know, they always asking more and more stuff, and I'm like, I kept putting it off, and I said, you know, and then I fixed it last month, and my revenue doubled on ad mob. So it went to like, I'm about £400 a month, which is, you know, which is decent. But I mean, considering I haven't updated anything in quite a while. Earnings are more spread out over time and more uncertain, but it's way more fun to work in your own apps. Any news on your personal apps? So I have one that I've been doing. It's not really, well, it is kind of a personal app, but it's like it's more of a business, like it's more like a SaaS. So it's like a kind of a game engine for businesses. And it's been under App Store approval process for like over a week, and I haven't even put it onto Google Play yet. But yeah, I'll probably talk more about it. It's one of these things because like as you know, when I did the Ear Spy stuff, I always talk about, here's what I did that worked, here's what I did that didn't work, here's like something I thought would work but didn't, here's like a service that I tried because everyone said all this stuff, and I was like just very much honest about it. But then, of course, it was all the copycats that came in, and everybody's like, oh, that works for him, let's just do that, right? And then it was just like made my life difficult. So I'm a little bit like, I'm almost on the fence about whether or not I want to even talk about it at this point. But I think at some point I probably will. What we have been doing over the last couple of weeks is just doing the outreach. So doing basically cold email campaigns. And I can tell you, after doing cold email campaigns for a couple of weeks, that it's really, really not very good. the outreach has not been going very well. So it's one of those things. Like, and I need to do some. Hang on, let me just send a message off to this guy here. Okay, so you can still see my screen here, can you? Let me see. Cool. Cool. So, where was I? Sorry about that. So yeah, so that's something I'm kind of like deciding whether or not I'm going to do it. But I probably will talk about it, just because I do think I had this with a meeting last week where they were kind of the hush hush kind of like clients were like, maybe we should do this, like not tell anybody. We don't want them to see it. Maybe we should restrict it to this area, whatever. But ultimately, the reason apps succeed is because you get as many people into them as you can rather. So even when we talked about how much you make from getting 100 installs, right? It's like, if you got I don't know, from 100 installs, let's say you got 20 cents, right, from 100 installs, which is then what you need to do is scale that up and get as many as possible. So. Jeff, hey Jeff, how's it going? Have you heard of pro devs using Swift UI yet? No, I have. I don't really know any like strict iOS only developers. Like everybody that I've been working with has been, it's been Xamarin or Flutter, and so it's almost like I'm sure there must be like developers like that out there that just do the one platform. But no, I haven't met any. Have you? Let's see. Rihad says, I want to know your average ads revenue for 100 installs. So an average RPM. So it depends. Again, you go back to the RPMs in which they fluctuate, and they would fluctuate. So let's see. I guess an average RPM is about 250. So what would that be? 250 would be for 100 would be 25p, something like that. It depends. It's like, so here's the things when you're thinking about so we're talking about in-app purchases, then you have to talk about your install rate, and it's never my install rate. The in-app purchase rate is really small as well. So if someone's either a buyer or they're not, the in-app purchases the per user were much higher on iOS than they were on Android, because there are more people with iPhones apparently are just more willing to spend money, and Android, there's like so much competition out there that you could just go find something similar, and a lot of people they just don't have billing even set up on their Google Play accounts. So that's with the purchase side of things. When it comes to the, it's one of these things. Like, I can't show you my ad mob, but I do know that I do keep track of my my RPMs. I can't tell you what my RPMs are. It's one of those things we're not allowed to share. Sonic says, thanks. Second row, first one. Okay, let's go back to this. Wait, let's go. And Kevin says, good evening. Good evening, Kevin. Let's go back to this one. Back. Share the screen again. Okay, second row, first one. Earthquake tracker. Oh, okay. Earthquake tracker app alert. Okay, here we go. View earthquakes in the world versus on a map. Okay, so we've got 100,000 plus downloads. That's not bad. They collected. You're responding to reviews, which is good. Ooh, ouch. Format is a bit elementary school and options data. Well, oh, Rohit does. Okay, so let's see. Let's have a look at these latest earthquakes in the world. Cool. I think dark theme. Yeah, I guess the dark theme is good. Again, we're talking about like we're talking about features rather than we talk about features and benefits. We talk about the how would this app help me? Like would it say for for geologists and earthquake enthusiasts everywhere or something like that, or know what's going, like there's certain things. So this one is a bit different than the others. This one says view earthquakes on a map, right? And it's like, well, is that that's like from a developer point of view, yeah, that's what it does, that's what it is, like, and it's if people are actually looking for that. And we got facts about earthquakes, and when I think it's rather than say, so this is a feature, but a benefit would be to learn about the earthquakes all over the world. So like it'd be like to gain knowledge. So like the features would be like what you did as a developer. The benefits would be what they gain as users. And then the search, and then dark theme. I mean, I see this a lot with dark theme, and I know it's one of those things we all support and we're all proud of it. But as developers, but it's one of those things where you think, are people actually doing it? But it sounds like your download numbers are fine. And if we talk about, what was your first question? Recently released an app on the App Store, but after around 2 months, it didn't get any ratings. Okay, so yeah, so Play Store does. If we go to App Store, we're looking at App Store, aren't we? So do you want me to have a look at it on the App Store as well? Let's see. Moving screens around here. Let's see the orange one. Okay, I hope that was the right one. Yep. Okay. Rifat says, when building a product for problem/solution, how can I test that product really works as the customers are remote? App user, course taker. How did you understand the earspy before the takeoff? Well, I mean, a lot of it was like looking at the acquisition report. So when it started to get a little bit of traction, I started to look at where people were downloading it from. So then I could see like what they were. Like at the time, you couldn't see what people were searching for, but I could see what it was ranking for. So I made the assumption that that's what they were searching for, and then I started to make. So when I first released it, it started to get a little bit of traction, and then I started looking at well, what kind of then I started to drill down more into the users that they would be like. What would they be? They'd be kind of more irreverent and more. So then I started to change it a little bit. It was a bit creepy, the whole idea of the ear spy thing. So I changed it to on the banner the feature image, I changed it to put warning, could, eavesdropping could result in hurt feelings and all this kind of, it's just changed the whole dynamic of the way it worked, kind of just lean into it a little bit, and that gave it a bit more of a playful feel to it. And then, when I started to see how well it was doing in different languages, I took the top 10 languages and then got it translated into those languages. And that's when it just it tripled overnight. And it didn't triple because the APK was updated. It did it because it was just the Play Store was updated. So, and that's one of those things is like putting that, if you read 0 to 1, you got the your MVP, your minimum viable product, to try to get something out there as quick as possible. So just to see what it's like. And then even in in the 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss talks about choosing the title for that book by creating Google Ads to see what people would click on based on that. So you could have your product page of the course where you're actually testing out different slogans and see if you're putting so I'm doing this. At the moment, I'm doing the thing that I always said that it shouldn't do, which is I get a bit of stage fright for putting this app live that I'm working on, and I need to just start advertising it. And we have started advertising. We haven't put ads out, but we've been doing the sort of the outbound marketing, right? But I have something that, in case I came back, we have something to show, something to demonstrate, and everything like that. But it's getting that one thing that you can demonstrate how it would work. It's almost like you're selling the idea to find out if there's a market for it. Out of context, what do you think of the motivational speech by retired Admiral McRaven? Can the principles used in business be used in the business life, or are they far off? Is Admiral McRaven the make your bed guy? That's what it is, right? I have seen that. It's funny how many things are just become business. It's, this, and there are things that are very different. I think, and I get it. I really like Jocko Willink, and I really like the what's the name of the book? Something, the responsibility one, by being responsible for it. Oh my God, I'm blanking on it. But the really good book, Extreme Ownership. That's what it was. So I really liked Extreme Ownership. I thought it was really good. But there's certain things. I mean, I was in the Army. I mean, it was I got out as a Sergeant E5, so it wasn't I wasn't a SEAL, or it wasn't special. I was a linguist. But I also know that there's, when you're doing, there's certain jobs where exactly what you're supposed to do because other people have done it, and there's other things where you're doing where you're like, dude, you're kind of figuring out as you go. And I think a lot of the stuff in business is just trying to figure stuff out as you go and trying something, see if it works. I mean, I guess in the military they're constantly, they're out. I mean, if they're actually in combat, they're actually in battle, and they're training for battle, then they know what it's like to actually train and to push forward and all that stuff, and try something and see if it works, if it doesn't work, and all that stuff. So I guess I take back what I just said. So Bobby Generic says, keep it secret, bro. Screw the copycats. I'm of that mind. I'm kind of like, I always felt like I like the fact that I could just share stuff with you guys, but then there's I think it was the one thing where, and so on the one side, I like to just be able to share stuff. I've had clients in the past, back when I was first starting off, where they were so secret, they didn't want to tell anything, and there's you can only be so secret about something you're trying to get other people to use, right? There's at some point, you can't just, it's really hard to tell, okay, I only want this group of people to hear this, but not this group of people, because eventually, you want as many people to hear it as possible. But yeah, I'm kind of gun shy about that. So thanks, Bobby. Let's see. Morris says, don't tell people which apps are profitable. You will create competitors. Yeah, I haven't done that. I've had people actually email me and says, I see you have a Bengali game. I speak Bengali. How much does that make? And I'm like, I'm not telling you. I'll tell you what. Why don't you go spend all the money to create this thing, and you can find out how much it makes. So I'm a little bit more like that, and just give postmortems on failed projects. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. But you talk about failed projects, so I always have this hope that there's something's going to take off. Let's see. Theo says Theo uses Swift UI, and he's also in the house. It's in the house. Let's see. Laura says, create different developer accounts for big projects to protect them from people copying everything you do. David Smith of Widget Smith does that. Yeah, I guess it's yeah. Maybe that's just the case. I mean, I never quite got the how legal it was to do that, and I have had a client account recently that it was removed because I took too long to upload an APK to it. It was like didn't do anything wrong. It was just like they said, oh, it's a dormant account. It was like after like 30 days. I was like, God, I missed it by literally hours. I was just like, oh, it was like I think it was like a 3-day weekend, and I was just like, oh, do that first thing next week. And it was like, and I missed it by hours. I was, so they couldn't just reinstate the account. They, Google said create a new account, so you had to create a new Gmail account, all this kind of stuff. What a pain. So that's actually not a bad idea. Just create a separate account. Rihad says, you are a very good man. Thank you. I'm not that good. Don't let that get around. I'm trying to develop a bad boy mystique. So so yeah, you can say I'm a good man, but like when you're talking to other people, say, God, he's such a bad guy. I want to be the bad guy. I'm gonna get some tattoos on my neck. Sadek says, this is the Android version. Could you please check the iOS one too? So the iOS one, you said you're not getting any reviews. I guess if it's the same, but one of the users in the reviews did say that there was where they said the iPhone version was better than the iOS or than the Android version. Didn't they? Let's go back into it. Because hang on, let me just see if I get this up. Da, da, da. Oh, I was gonna say App Annie. I still call it App Annie, but it's data.ai. Let's have a look at it on there, actually. That might be a bit easier than... Okay. Sorry, I'm just typing here. I don't want to share my screen yet. Let's see, earthquake tracker. This is not easy to find, is it? Let's see, Comet Panda. Okay, is it on Google Play? I'm gonna share my screen here. Okay. So this is what I'm doing. I'm doing a search for on data.ai. One of the things I'm noticing is that your app name is com.panda.app.earthquake. Where's the panda come from? Because it's Trinity Tech. Is that something else? Let's just type in earthquake tracker. Is there like an API? How do you get this data? I mean, you don't have to tell me because then, copycats. But, oh, yeah, this. Okay, earthquake tracker. Here we go. This is the Google Play one, but I don't see the App Store one. But let's have a look at this one anyway, because... Oh, here we are. Doi. Okay, so it's... Okay, wait, hang on a second. Why am I seeing this in another language? I'm seeing worldwide. Let's look at it in... Let's look at it in the United States. Why am I seeing... Sadik, why am I seeing another language on here? Listen. Is this? Maybe I've got something set up incorrectly on here. Select the localizable version. Brazil. Let's go China. Let's go United States. I don't know. According to App Annie or Data.ai, this is like in another language. Weird. Yeah, you might want to have a look at that just to see if there's. Make sure you got your languages set up properly on there. Ta-ta-dum. Ba-da-ba-dum. I want some transition music when I go from desktop to whatever. Let's see. Rihad says, please check it. Rihad, did you? Rihad, check. Oh, okay. We were talking about the number of installs. I don't know what it was to check. Thank you for advice. I also want to mention that I made the iOS version by using Swift UI framework. I think if anyone wants to make iOS, they should give it a try. It's also better than Jetpack Compose. Cool. Let's see. Joe. Hey, Joe says, Eric, have you ever had to deal with resolving AdMob policy violations? If so, was it easy to do so? Yeah, usually what it is you just have to like make your change to the thing and resubmit it. And then you tell them that you've done it. I mean, if it's just a policy violation, it's like, it's usually like an ads covering a button or something like that. You just need to go through and check it out, find out what's going on there. It's not like a suspension or like the, so. Let's see. Jeff says, thanks guys. I think I'm gonna use Swift UI for my app. Oh, okay. I'm way outside the loop when it comes to like I only use Xcode for compiling lately. Joe says, AdMob is saying my rewarded ads are not giving a reward. I tested the rewards locally and it seems to be working as intended. Are you sure that they're actually watching it all the way through? Morris said, did you see UFC this weekend? Striker was mostly losing to Grappler for 4.5 rounds, then won by submission in the last minute of the round. Striker defeated. Are you trying to emasculate me? Is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to make me... Yeah, of course I watched it. Oh, no, I was busy. I was busy bare knuckle boxing and fixing my car this weekend. But yeah, thanks, Morris. Now I do like, because I've been going to boxing classes at night, and I really enjoy it. Although I keep getting hit, obviously. So, and I'm a very slow learner, I think, when it comes to that stuff. But it's fun. And one of the things is I've never been much of a spectator, and so I did watch the Tyson Fury fight, whatever, a month or 6 weeks ago, whenever it was, but I would like to watch more actual live, fights. General knowledge GK quiz. Okay, well, all right, Rihad, I guess this is what you want to look at. I think I missed where you did that. So let me see if I can find it here. I'm gonna do search on here. GK quiz. BB Droid apps. Here we go. What is GK? Oh, general knowledge. Okay. So here we go. BB Droid apps. GK quiz. Let's see. GK general knowledge questions and answers. English, Hindu. See again. That's online, ads free. General knowledge quiz. 35 different categories, multiple languages. Play GK quiz. Details. Hang on. Let's go through the I know we said this before, but your screenshots are really important, because that's one of the things that they're more likely to read the screenshots than they are to actually look at the to read the description. So if we say GK questions and answers, so English, Hindi, Urdu, and Bangla, that's one of those things that should only be. Is Bangla? Is it Bangladeshi? But that's one of those things that only if you were to look at it in a specific language, you should be able to see it in that. Like, I'm not sure if that's something that, I mean, unless you think that would be something that would draw people in. General knowledge quiz, offline, ads free. Okay. There you go. And then you got the splash screen. Again, not the best screenshot, the splash screen, although I've done it before when I like, you know, I'm thinking, well, I don't want to show too much. And then we got the general knowledge stuff. And then choose your language. Again, that's one of those things that should be driven by the system, unless it's something, unless you're actually trying to target like language learners. I think my first application, again, that was one of the things where I told the developers I wanted to be multilingual, and because I knew about like the multilingual, like apparently I knew more about Android than they did, and I'd like not actually done an app at that time. I mean, I'd done trying to phone gap stuff. I was, you know, just getting involved, just getting started, and it was like they did the similar thing where they made a menu option where you could change the language, which is like, you know, it didn't make any sense. It should be based on the system. Play GK quiz. Again, this is just kind of the same thing again. Study before playing. Study GK questions. Details. See, this is it. Details information doesn't, I mean, that doesn't even quite make sense. But let's have a look. I'm going to go back to the normal. And again, I'm not giving you a hard time here. I'm just like, let's just have a look at it from a, I hope you don't think I am. But I just want to, like, because this doesn't look like it would be something that would be difficult to create. We talk about like a low barrier to entry. I'll share my screen again. And the only reason I keep switching back from when I'm changing windows here is because I don't want you to see what's on my desktop. So general knowledge quiz. So you got no ratings. When was it released? It was released on April 5th. So we hardly any time so far. And if we go into ASO keywords, which is what we should be thinking about, actually, let's look at United States. General knowledge exam, general knowledge test. So yeah, I mean, it's rank 81 for general. That's something. And let's go over here. Let's look at the localized stuff. If I were to look at this in India, it's English. Hang on. Let's go back to the other one. Sorry, I know all this clicking around. It should be more fluid. Like I should like be able to so it's now if you want to look at your like the different, like only like you're gonna know because you did the Google Play account actually what it actually is. But if we were to look at the desktop here and we were to go to I think it's HL ES, like no, is it HL? Oh, what is it? Oh no, DOI query string. So if we were to look at it in different languages, so it would be, is it IN Indian? Let's see, if we're gonna go into, so like if you were to look at it in different languages, like ZH, CN. So you can see like it's, you still have it as English on all these other ones, and I would expect that if you were actually looking at it in a language that you're targeting, it would, the description would be in that language. But I think it looks like something that's like a really simple application to do. Yeah. So Rifat says, thinking of go all in on courses after this contract. Should I take a contract after every product build, or should I build 4 courses and then take a contract? I don't want to have debt more than my income. Yeah, no, nobody wants to have debt more than their income. I think you should try one of them. Like just, put something together and see how it does, because it's going to be, I mean, if you say you're going to do 4 courses, then you're still going to need that time to bring people into it. So how are you going to market those courses? I think would be my question. That's one of the reasons why I kind of think, like, you know, it's one of those, like, I don't know. I was really big, like, for a while I got the Teachable account, and I was like, I want to make a course, and I was like really kind of like getting into that, and I thought, I could do the videos every day. I could do a course. And then I was like, I don't know, I just sort of, I don't want to be, I'd rather just do the videos than be like, okay, buy my course, live stream ends now, like, buy my, if you want any more, buy the course, whatever. Red Hot says Google Play, and we had to look at that. Stocks in crypto are down. How is recession affecting app consulting? It's right now, everything seems to be okay so far, but it's been about consistent. I'm worried about, actually, it was one of these things where like, every time there's a recession, I'm glad I never went into like middle management or anything like that. I'm glad the skills are still there to be able to do stuff, because when I think about reducing costs, I think about automation and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's one of those. I did a video the other day where I talked about the integration projects, or the glue that holds projects together. Those kind of skills are going to be essential going forward, because they help businesses streamline what they're doing, whereas before they're cash rich and they could hire as many people as they need to. Now they might be looking at finding someone to streamline those processes, but they won't be looking for new apps and new kinds of stuff, I don't think. That's my guess. Let's see. And Morris says, Striker 1, you are a striker. It's good news for strikers. Am I a striker as opposed to a grappler? Yeah, I'm not. I'm more of a, I don't want to say I wish I could say striker. A striker makes it sound like it's quick. And, when I watch the video playback of me boxing, it's like, it's like, let's see. Joe says, thanks, Eric. After you submit that form stating you fixed the problem, or do they just remove the violation from the account if they're happy with it? They gave me 1 month to resolve it. Yeah, I mean, I think, I got loads of stuff that I haven't even done. But, for me, it's just, they just resolve it. I mean, if it's something, what they really don't want is ad fraud. Ad fraud is the thing that's, they will shut you down. So I'm just going to have a look at my screen real quick. Just look at my AdMob account, so I know I've got policy violations I need to like deal with. So if you go into policy center, right? So I'm looking at it right now. Just make sure it hasn't changed. You'll see that there's a you can see the restricted ad serving, all this kind of stuff, but there's a fix button right to the right of it, so you could actually go through and click on that fix, and then once you make that change, so they could just go ahead and re-review it. And I don't think it really has an adverse effect. I've got things that have been on that list for I got one thing that's been on that list for 2 years. So yeah. Actually, no, I've got 3 of them. It's because the Play app has been disabled. So like, even like, I've had my Google Play remove some of my accounts, and actually, I think I can show this one. It doesn't show anything really bad here. Let me just share my screen, just to give you an idea what I'm talking about. If you go into Policy Center over here, you got this, like I said, I've got stuff that's been, like, basically that's been removed. So you just go, click on the fix, release new versions. And ear assist has been removed by Google. Wasn't my thing, but AdMob wants me to fix it. If only I could. Matthew's here. Hey Matthew, how's it going? My full screen ad match rate is normal. My full screen ad show rate is dropping off a cliff. Okay, well yeah, I mean the match rate. The match rate is like you're actually getting the request fulfilled, right? So you're like asking for an ad, they're giving you the ad, but then that you should have it loaded in the background. It might not actually show. The info broker, hey, how's it going? It says, hey Eric, I was wondering if as a developer, as a developer on Google Play, should I keep updating one app or publish multiple different apps? Do app rankings fall if they stay unupdated for a long time? Yeah, I mean, they will. You do want to keep them fresh, like keep them updated from time to time. I just re-released all of my apps just to get just so I get that updated date. And you think about it, even as a user, you see something that the last updated date, if you see it's like 2017, you won't touch it. You don't know, that thing's obviously not been supported anymore. But if it's been an update released recently, then you got better, you got more confidence in it. And the same with Google Play. Google Play is going to promote that thing a bit more if you're actually there. So if they can see you're actually if that you're actually updating it. So. But yeah, no, definitely one app. So early on, what I had done was I had gone through, and I should show you this too, actually. So when I first started, I thought we were talking about doing multiple language apps. I thought I could just do rather than create one app with multilingual, I thought I would just go through and just create as many. Let me see if I can unpublish apps. Unpublished. So I've got 70. I'm going to show my screen here. Go back to the end. Oh, I won't show it. But that's one of the things I did. I thought, I'll just create multiple versions. And in the end, it was you talk about when you get ratings and stuff like that, you get reviews and ratings, you want that to apply to everything. So let's see, where's my, here we go. My app has 33 reviews. Do you know about Bangladesh? The language? I know about it. Last recession, I worked for, Morris says, last recession, I worked for a company that wrote apps for old hardware. We made millions on sales to Fortune 500 companies because they didn't need to upgrade the hardware to run our code. Well, that's good. The info broker says, if an employer asks to prove the apps on Google Play Store are really yours, is there any option to export the app performance through Play Console, or do you just take a screenshot of the Play Console? I mean, I've never had anybody ask. I mean, I would take a I guess you could take a screenshot of the Play Console. I mean, but it doesn't prove that it's yours. I mean, I have access to lots of people's Play Consoles, all of my clients. So it's it depends on why they're asking. But usually when you're talking to somebody, if you have experience, that's the thing about an interview. You should sometimes you could show code samples to show that you know what you're talking about, but you should be able to convey that through a regular conversation. Let's see. Harsh Sharma says, Eric, have you started using Jetpack Compose for UI and Android instead of XML? No, I haven't done any native Android stuff in forever. But no, I know I didn't like the XML. Morris says our apps were in C++. Competitors' apps were in Java. They record more hardware than us. Yeah, see, that's really good. I mean, I think that's one of those. I think, when I think about the upcoming crash and recession, I mean, I do worry about it a bit. I think it's more of those, when I start thinking about, maybe I should invest in getting some more people. Maybe I should do this. And it's no, this is the time to save. This is the time to to start thinking about the winter's coming, and you gotta have enough to get through those times. I mean, it's one of those things nobody has doubted the fact that we had a crash coming, do they? Riva says, what do you think on Top Gun? Did you like it? I did like it. I thought it was a good movie. There were some things that I thought, I kind of picked a few holes in it, but ultimately I did like it. I mean, it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, there were a few movies that I was waiting for the new Bill and Ted movie, for years. There's certain movies where I keep checking to see, they keep talking about having a sequel, and then it's always oh, one day we'll do this. So the Bill and Ted one that came out during the pandemic, I was like excited to see that, and it sucked. I mean, it was okay. It was better. Like it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't like great either. Bad Boys for Life was okay, right? It was like, or whatever. But I thought with Top Gun, they really kept with the spirit of it, like really well. Like it wasn't like Bad Boys for Life was like, okay, now they're still the same. We're not going to address the whole age thing, except that they're going to retire or whatever. And the same with Bill and Ted. It was like, all these years, like 30 years passed, you would expect there to be behave somewhat different. And I think that with Top Gun, I think it was a bit more like they acknowledged time passing, even though that, well, actually, I don't want to give any spoilers away. But yes. Thanks for the answers. I could be completely wrong on everything I ever say. So, Morris says, if we have a recession, people can't upgrade their phones. Native code will run better for longer than cross-platform and interpreted code. Yes, and also, that you got to think about if someone's looking for a developer, and the whole thing about recession is like, who's going to be spending money? Is it going to like frivolous apps aren't going to be that like important, right? So like that's one of those things where if you are gonna get a job and a contract, it might be a time to start looking into that way now. I mean, just because you can help other businesses achieve what they need to, and it might not be they want to create a game. I mean, that's one of those which is a hard sell anyway. Like to say, like to me to say like if I get hired to do something where they create something that they already have a product and they want like an app that's a companion to that, then it's like that helps improve their product that they already have an audience for. The days of I want to hit it big on the App Store and Play Store, I think that will take a dip, but that's just my opinion. So YouTube, thanks for the inspiration. Thanks. Well, I've been trying to do more videos recently, and I don't have, like I said, I don't have one for tomorrow. So, let's see. Thanks for it. You're welcome. Info Broker says, Eric, do you plan on coming back to publishing your own apps on the Google Play Store and is making a new app ideas, or do you think the Play Store is just getting worse and worse for developers? No, I don't think it's getting worse for developers. I think it's just getting, I think it's like the web. I mean, it's so crowded that you can't just put something on the App Store and expect people to find it. You have to find, you have to be thinking, like if you're going to do a website, you got to think, how are people going to find it? So we talk about the general knowledge quiz game. You got to think about like the one we looked at earlier. Think of who's going to be searching for general knowledge quiz games and how are you going to compete under those kind of stuff. Like those would be the kind of stuff. Is that niche enough? Is that something that are people clamoring for that? Do they even know enough to be looking for it? And if not, why wouldn't they? So I think it is getting more difficult. But yeah, I'm definitely planning on putting stuff back there. I think as a distribution method, the App Store and the Play Store are ideal. If you've ever tried to distribute an iOS app and not use the App Store, it's a pain, right? You have to do it through a closed App Store and the business, like so for businesses, or like we do, like we've had, or even like we've had somewhere we just had like an APK on a file server somewhere for Android. That's easier. But even like having a download link using enterprise distribution model or enterprise distribution program for Apple, and that's you talk about the upgrades and everything like that, it gets more difficult. So like if you just put something on the App Store and Play Store, it's perfect. Everyone knows to go there. Users are trained that that's where you get apps from, right? You don't have to like my big problem with PWAs is you're basically competing with every other app out there. So but yeah, I do think it's still a good tool. But and finally, Morris says, in a recession, big companies would rather hire a contractor than an employee. Harder to get rid of excess employees. Yeah, I know. I think that's one of those, like, and being a contractor, you have to keep your skills up, right? You have to think, how do you go in there and you always have to be marketable. And Theo says iOS distribution got easier with unlisted apps. Yeah. Well, yeah, it has. But cool. All right, so I think we've been talking for an hour here. Hey, everybody, thanks very much for joining the live stream. We're gonna end it here. Sorry for those of you whose apps I looked at, and I hope I didn't poke too many holes in it. I think it's just my opinion. I'm just some guy, right? You'll see what works. The market's gonna tell you what works and what doesn't. So anyway, I hope you guys. I'm gonna try to get some more videos done this week. I don't think I'll have one for tomorrow, but I hope you guys stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys again in a few weeks' time for the live stream, and or maybe even next week. Depends on the mood hits me, and then we'll chat a bit later. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.